Good morning, friends. Today is August 17th, one day after Krishna Janmashtami in the year 2025, and 2 days after our Independence Day. So, many friends have been asking that we should start a series of dialogues and discussions about important issues that we often think about but don't discuss. So, this is going to be a series of talks. Some of them will be personal, some of them will be about the society and the nation and how to lead a happy life and so on and so forth. Um, some of it might be about how to lead a happy life by choosing the right career or doing the right kind of work. As a background, these talks are based on about 40 odd years of experience, diverse experiences all over India, including in some other countries, notably the United States, Japan, Hong Kong, Europe, but mostly in India, and across a wide variety of types of work. One kind of work that one has been doing is in academics, teaching, research, etc., at some of the well known business schools in India. Some of it is at the other extreme, far removed from the corporate sector, experience of over 25 years in the rural sector, working in remote villages with what many people say are the grassroots or the real people of India, the farmers, the small farmers, and seeing very many interesting and challenging situations there. A third set of diverse experiences are based on the work that we do on electoral and political reforms through the Association for Democratic Reforms, and very important, at least for me personally, another set of experiences which are based on a deep interest in religion, particularly Hinduism and Hindu philosophy. And all these diverse experiences, they're still continuing. The work is continuing with full energy. They have something in common. They look very different, but they have something in common. And the common really thing is how to make our great country and society better, how to make the millions of people in India who are working hard but struggling, how to make their life better. And the spiritual background actually gives you a sanction for doing this, because people like Vivekananda, he said, Atmano mokshartham jagat hitaya cha, means work for your own spiritual welfare and also work for the good of people. And even many centuries before that, the Buddha said, Bahujana hitaya, Bahujana sukhaya. He tells his followers that work in such a way that it helps everybody, Bahujan hitaya, and it is for the welfare of everybody or the happiness of everybody. Bahujana hitaya, Bahujana sukhaya. So these kind of statements also had an influence in putting together all these diverse activities. So let me start with a big question that has been there in my mind since childhood. That is, why are so many Indians poor? Yes, in the last so many decades, India has made progress. We are the fourth largest economy in the world, and there are many achievements. But these problems have not gone away. So we still have this issue. So why are people poor, and what can we do about it? It's not merely about understanding, but more about what can we do about it. So with this idea in mind, I took 1 year off it was becoming, a big question in my mind that shall my whole life go past and one does nothing about it. So, meanwhile, of course, one of the things you do is you go and see what others have done. Because back then I didn't have very much faith in reading books and papers and articles, because people just talk about what needs to be done. I wanted to meet people who had done something. So I met a lot of wonderful people. I met Dr. Varghese Kurian, I met Ilaben Bhatt, I met Shanta Sinha, I met Aruna Roy, Nikhil Day, my good friend Abhay, and someone who people like and admire but also criticize, Medha Patkar, Anna Hazare, and so many others who have done wonderful work, Vijay Mahajan, who have done wonderful work in the country for the overall development of its people. So during that 1 year off, what I decided is that we will go into the villages of India. I was going alone with whoever was accompanying at that time, just to see what is the situation. So the first thing I learned is that there is nothing like personal observation and experience in these matters. You can read books, you can have conversations, but if you go and see for yourself, your whole perspective completely changes. So I did that. Then there was another question in the mind. There are so many wonderful people who are doing such good things. What can I do? So the idea really was that fill in the gap. There are many gaps even today, and one person cannot do everything. So I thought, let me use this knowledge of MBA, business management. I was teaching in a business school. Earlier I had done an MBA. How can we use this knowledge to increase the income of people? Because in the development sector, people rightly, they talk about health, education, and so many other things: food, nutrition, empowerment, discrimination against women and Dalits, and so many important issues are there. But I found that in the development sector, there is hardly much work in the how to increase incomes of people. So that was one area that I wanted to work on. And the second one was how to do this at a large scale. So I had read, books about Amul, Operation Flood. I even went and met Dr. Kurian, and I was highly inspired by the huge scale of impact that Amul had made. It is 75 years old. It's older than independence. It is India's leading brand, and it has converted India from a milk deficit country to the world's largest milk producer. But from my point of view, the most important thing was that it lifted millions and millions of people out of poverty. So this model, I liked very much, that it can be scaled and it can be done. Then a simple look at data show that India actually has the largest number of farmers in the world. A little bit, China sometimes they show they have a few more farmers than us, but by and large, India has the largest number of farmers, and all of 80 to 90% are small farmers. 1 hectare, 2 hectares, small farmers. And the government itself says that 80 to 90% of small farmers are poor. So it was very clear that if you want to increase the incomes of people who are poor on a large scale, then one sector which you should focus on is agriculture. And the philosophy is that India can become great if the people of India become great. And the people of India can become great when they have, firstly, an assured livelihood, adequate income, and then of course health, education, etc. is also required. And then out of that, the younger generation will come up and they will do wonderful things. We see that in some fields, like in chess, India is a leading this thing, player. In cricket, we are right up there, and in many other fields, India is doing well, but we can do much better. So that's why we started working with farmers in rural development. Now, behind this, there is some philosophy. The philosophy, I will first quote Vivekananda. He says, I read it when I was a teenager and it really appealed to me. He says, all the wealth in the world poured into one tiny village will not help the people unless you make them self-reliant. So the golden word was self-reliant. And he has a way of talking. He used to say, the old religion says you must have faith in God. The new religion says you must have faith in yourself. And he also used to use the word man-making religion. What it means is that work in such a way that you make people self-reliant, strong, confident, etc. Now, with this philosophy, which makes a lot of sense to me, how do you work to lift large numbers of small farmers out of poverty? So, the first principle is that we must enable them to work hard and work together so that they earn the income, and it is not a way of simply giving charity. And how much charity can you give anyway? And I didn't have any money to give. So how do we do that? So I found that this Amul model of cooperatives, where what is a cooperative? Large number of farmers coming together and working together to do an economic activity, typically a business, which they could not have done individually. So Amul, for example, is making Amul milk, Amul butter, Amul ghee, Amul ice cream, Amul chocolate, you name it. And that's called value addition. Right here in Bangalore where I live, Nandini Dairy is also doing the same. So I said, let's try to do that in the non-dairy sector where there's a lot of distress. So now what is a cooperative? It is a business. As far as the farmer is concerned, they're all coming together to form a business and run it profitably. Now the question is, why is it not happening? I'll come to that later, but how do we do it? So the simple fact is, tens of billions of dollars are being invested in India right now by multinational companies in the food sector. So what does this tell us? It tells us that there is a lot of money in food. On the other hand, we keep hearing how farmers are struggling. Here and there we hear of suicides and farmers are leaving farming. So there is no money in farming, but there is a lot of money in the food industry. Now what a contradiction it is. This is happening as we speak now in the 21st century. So obviously the answer is that farmers should add the food business to farming. Then they can also become prosperous because there is money in the food business. So how do we do that? So that is the first question. How do we do that? So there are a few things that are required to make this happen. One is, of course, you have to organize a large number of farmers to come together so that they can work for mutual benefit, because each single farmer cannot do a business. A single farmer in Gujarat cannot make Amul ice cream and sell it all over the country and perhaps now all over the world. Amul ice cream can only be made by an organization called Amul, where the members are the farmers. So they all come together, form a big business called Amul and then make ice cream. Same thing has to be done here. So we started organizing farmers. The second thing you learn is, where is the money? Now we have learned MBA, business management, all these things. They tell you, they're supposed to tell us how to make money. But money for whom? Money not for me or me myself. Money for the good of the people, for the good of the farmers. How can we make a business that makes lots of money and that profit goes to the farmers? So this was the first challenge. So you first learn where is the money in the food business. So you have to basically trace the entire supply chain. The local traders are cheating the farmers, then the local millers are processing the food, and from there it comes, after processing food into packets, it comes to the cities and city people buy it. And what you find is that if the farmer is getting 20 rupees, we as consumers are paying 100 rupees, and the rest of it is being spent in the supply chain, and various people are making money on that. Some of it is okay, some of it is exploitative, and some of it is very inefficient and waste. So for example, they say that 30 to 40% of Indian fruits and vegetables are wasted because the supply chain is not very good. So based on all this, we came up with a business model, and then you learn how to do business not from the textbooks. You learn how to make money from those who are making money. And who are they? You start with the local traders in the villages, the local millers, the local wholesalers, the local merchants. So I used to go and talk to all of them. And with a notebook like a student, I was already a professor, and take notes and ask them, how do you make money? How do you make money? So we figured that out. It's not very difficult. Then the question is, if we do this, the farmers can also make money. So then you go and start organizing them and say, let's all work together, and we can all become prosperous. So this twin action of organizing, what in development jargon is called social mobilization, mobilizing a large number of farmers. So each village will have 30, 50, 100 villages, and all of them together will, in a district, will form a district federation. And in this district federation, you will have a processing unit. So right now, for example, in the work we do, we have about 8 or 9 processing units. We process groundnuts, mungfali. As a joke, the English joke is that peanuts are supposed to be for monkeys, and peanuts, why are you paying people peanuts? Because peanuts are supposed to be for the poor, at least in this way of thinking. So we found a district in southern India, in Andhra Pradesh, in Anantapur, which is largely groundnut, and the farmers are largely poor. So through this intervention, about 30,000 farmers have joined. They are doing tens of crores of rupees of business. Some of the groundnuts are being exported to the United States, etc. But there is no subsidy. No free money is given to the farmers. In fact, they have to invest their money. We don't charge any money for our services, which are largely, you can say, free consultancy and advice, and linking to markets and bringing in the technology and all. But they have to pay for it, and the payment is investment into their own company. So we neither take any money from them nor give any money to them. And from day one, the philosophy is that if you do it yourself, then you will be better off. So let me give an example of social mobilization. You see, for the last 75 years or more of independence, we have followed one model of poverty alleviation, which is to give subsidies, doles and incentives. All kinds of things, loan waivers, 2 rupee rice, 5 rupee rice, 5 kg of rice for free, minimum support price, free electricity to farmers, no income tax, and hundreds of things are there, which is basically making farmers in many ways more and more dependent on the government. But here we are telling them the opposite. We are saying, you see that fellow, he's got a big groundnut mill. Is he well off? Yes, sir. He's got a lot of money. He's a rich guy. He's driving Mercedes, and he's sending his sons to expensive English medium schools, and he's got a huge bungalow. They are all very rich, sir. So I said, who gave him the money? Oh, they are from rich families. I said, yes, but he has invested his money in that factory. And he is continuously investing money and, of course, making profits. So we also have to invest. No, sir, how can we do? We are all so poor. We can't do that. So we tell them some simple arithmetic. Firstly, go back to Hinduism and religion. Every village in India today, without exception, has at least one temple, if not several temples. And many of them are being built new and many of them are being renovated. And they are spending anywhere between 5 lakhs to 50 lakhs in small villages for these temples. So I asked them, oh, you got this temple. Where did you get the money from? Did the government give you? Did some politician give you some World Bank scheme, government scheme? No, sir, this is our money. We collect. So I said, you have enough money to build a temple for 10 lakhs? That kind of money, if you all put together in several villages, you will have crores of rupees. So it takes some time, but basically there is a problem both with the external interventionists like us who go, we think, oh, they are so poor, they don't have any money. And with the people themselves who have been taught that, oh, somebody is coming to do some good work for you, they'll give you some money, don't worry, they'll do some help. So both of these things were breaking. Now, apart from the Vivekananda philosophy of making them self-reliant, which I think is good, the other thing is the sheer sustainability. There's a big word called sustainability. How long will this run? So thousands of government schemes have come up where the government gives money to build all these food processing centers. I saw one 2-3 months ago, sponsored by Walmart. Huge center in a rural area, world's best machines for making biscuits and for roasting and grinding, and everything is just top class. But there is a catch. The catch is it is not being used. Only 10% production. Why? Because the organization that got this free grant got it for free. So they are not bothered, and they have not learned how to do business. They don't know how to use this fully and make a business out of it. On the other hand, if you go to a private sector, you will find that he may not have such world-class facilities, but whatever facilities they have, it is working 24/7 and it is generating employment and making money. So we have to use the mindset of the private sector with the goals of the development sector. The private sector says make profit. The development sector says that lift people out of poverty. We have to combine the two. That will be combined when people put their money. So when they put their money, each person is putting 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 rupees, not more than that, and some of them not initially but over 1 or 2 years. You have a nice processing unit. Now they don't have to be told that you own it. They already know that they own it because they have given their money. And when they own it, you can come and see our work. There are farmers who are every day taking a local train from village A to village B, then taking an auto to come to the processing unit and supervising the work. And he's doing it for free. I mean, they may be paying him the fare. Why? Because he feels, oh, this is all our farmers, we are all doing this. And they have elected me as a board of directors in the Farmer Federation. And I must also do something for my people. So that feeling of ownership means that people start working for themselves. You can see any auto or taxi driver, if a taxi is parked and the driver is outside and cleaning the car, it means that he owns it. He is not a driver driving it on behalf of some other owner. And you sit in the car and you see how he drives. If it is a self-driven car, he drives it very carefully. There will be no jerks. He will not go into potholes. He will follow all the traffic rules because he doesn't want the car to be damaged because he owns it. Same philosophy is there in a farmer-owned cooperative. They manage it very properly because they know everybody has put their money and this is our money and we should not waste it. When the government gives huge grants, what do? It's okay, it has come, let us see if it works, it works, otherwise it doesn't work. 90% of them don't work. So that is the second thing. So second thing is that people have to invest. First thing is that we have to organize the people. Third is equally important for the development professionals is how to do business. Now, in the last 25 years of this work, one thing I have learnt, that setting up and doing business is a rare skill. For those who have it, it is very easy. For others, no matter how much you explain, they just don't get it. They just don't get how to do business. So what do? What you do is, you first learn how to do the business. That's very important. And you learn it from seeing what others are doing in the local area or in whichever way. And you set up the business with farmers' investment and run it for 1, 2, 3 years. And along the way, you train them on how to run it. So then they run it themselves. So, there is a WhatsApp group of farmers. It's in the local language. It's not in English. And every day, dozens of messages come on that WhatsApp group. Order has come from Reliance Bangalore. It is due on Wednesday. The production guy in the village, in that factory says, oh yes, we are going to start production. Then he will put out a message saying that production is done. The loading is over. The weighbill is here. Here is the invoice. Here is the dispatch. The money has come. And there was a quality problem or there was no quality problem. Who is doing all this? The farmers are doing it. What have you done? You have enabled this to happen. What do otherwise the general model, what do? They will bring some professional in MBS to manage this. That guy will not go and live in a village. He will get bored to tears. His cost will be very high because you have to pay them 1 lakh, 2 lakh rupees a month. And he will not work sincerely. And after 6 months, he'll leave. It doesn't work. But the farmers are able to do it because the local millers and other traders in that local area who are all doing business, none of them have MBAs and they don't speak English or anything like that. I've gone and visited dozens of these guys. So it doesn't require, it's not rocket science. Now, how do the farmers learn? Partly your own responsibility, you have to train them to do the business. Second thing is, when people put their own money, their senses and brain start working alert. The best training program, management and leadership training program, is making people invest their money. Automatically the brain starts functioning on how to make money out of this. You can see it. So these are some principles we follow. There are many, many more details. We'll discuss them later. So that's it for now, for today, on this very auspicious day. I will call it, 1 day after Janmashtami and 2 days after independence. So I'll sign off from Bangalore on August 17th, 2025. And we do hope to continue this dialogue over several subjects. Today we talked about agriculture and poverty alleviation. We will also talk about politics, religion, personal goals, whatever issues that one has learnt through sometimes bitter experience. So thank you so much and bye for now.